Yeah. Good afternoon, troops, and welcome to Heroes and Generals, Devstream number 68, live from Copenhagen. I'm Reto Gargamel, and with me is Reto Red Bjarne, the game director.
Hello.
And today we will be covering the news and the upcoming update. We'll be giving you part 2 of the assembly line series. It's a look behind the scenes at the Panther. We'll be saying a word about bug reporting, and we will be showing you also some funny moments, and also we'll be taking some questions from the chat. If the opportunity presents itself, if you have any interesting and relevant questions, we'll be looking at the chat.
Have to be relevant, though.
And they have to be relevant.
And interesting.
If it's not relevant, we're going to pretend we didn't read it. So we're very good at pretending. So, the news. Easter was fantastic. I don't know about you. What did you do during Easter?
I played Heroes and Generals, obviously, with my 10-day vet membership.
I wish I could say the same. I was kind of busy getting my eardrums destroyed in Sheffield, and it was fun. So I'm back with, I guess, a bit of a shocker here. We have a new faction coming. And we thought we'd give you a little taste. I think nobody saw that coming, right? It's Switzerland.
No, it makes perfect sense because
Switzerland. We're
right
adding,
in the middle of Europe,
right? And we've been already adding all these big factions. So I'm thinking like a smaller country, right? Yeah. And because let's do things differently. Let's challenge people's expectations. So what is in the Swiss faction actually? What people will be first seeing is, of course, the basic starting equipment. We had to kind of prepare this in a bit of a rush today, so I'll go and find it somewhere on the desktop. There we go. So, of course, the first thing that you have in every Swiss soldier's equipment is the Swiss Army knife, the Modell 1890. And you'll see that on the map you'll start out with Zurich as the capital, and then there's a special rule for Switzerland, right? That it has to be neutral.
Yeah.
It starts out neutral.
It starts out neutral.
So what does that mean, really?
It means that it doesn't have any enemies.
So it cannot initiate an attack, right? But if somebody attacks it, then it will automatically form an alliance with whoever is the enemy of your enemy,
I think
right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting actually to see what people do with that kind of setup. Of course, that's the M18 Swiss helmet, which it looks a little bit like the M40 German helmet. We can say it's kind of like halfway between the Danish and the German models, right? But you can recognize, I mean, the Swiss Army insignia, yeah. Which is totally historical, and we actually, and we will be showing more, I guess, about the.
But I think this is one of the factions that we would like to expand and add to.
Because there is so much also with the Swiss Guards and all that, and they will be the only faction also that earns gold instead of credits.
We thought that was a nice twitch to the whole in-game economy. That if you play and win as the Swiss, you accumulate gold. So yes, that's.
Do you think it's going to make things a little bit more fair? I think for everybody, because I mean. Other factions have like tremendous advantages, so I guess like giving them like this little.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to balance it.
Because I mean, that is what we're looking out for, is a game balance always.
Yeah.
So we will also, I think, be adding some weapons for the other factions in the coming CC update. Mm-hmm. Actually, we found a name for it. That's another thing that we want to maybe announce, and that is where is it? Here it is. So we had a forum thread here where we asked people for suggestions for a name for the CC update, and we got, of course, Otto Carius mentioned a lot, and but I'm gonna scroll down to the one that everybody ended up shouting about is Mad Jack Churchill, and so
broadsword guy.
Because I mean the player community really likes the idea of that badass. Basically, what's the word I'm looking for here? When it's like foolhardy a little bit, right? Like the guy basically taking chances way beyond the Call of Duty. Apparently, that guy was sad when the war ended. He thought, we could have kept it going if it wasn't for the.
Damn it! It's already over.
So
that was too easy.
But so if people ask, the Churchill build is named after that Lieutenant Colonel John Malcolm Churchill, and not Winston Churchill. It's not to announce that the Brits.
Some people will get that wrong, but
I mean, the players seem to love Jack Churchill so much that let's just call it that, and we just want to make sure that. Okay. So before we move on to we have a special guest coming later also for the next section, but I guess we'll give a quick reveal of some of the new weapons, right, in the Churchill build. I guess I can show that here in the shop. I'm gonna go and get here. Okay, so I'm here on our test server. You have this new addition to the U.S. arsenal. It's the Johnson M1941 light machine gun. This actually, I'm going to go and find it in the shop to give you the large format pictures.
It's still getting tested, right? So it's still on the. You'll probably see
you see like here some text is missing, but I mean, but still I'll show it in game later if I actually. How much time can we spend on this?
As long as it takes.
As long as it takes. Let's.
I think so.
Let's show it in game then. Because for this one we had actually somebody make brand new sound effects.
Yeah.
Right, and they are amazing. I mean, the first time I was trying to get a screenshot of it, I was in game, and I just kept. It
has a nice sound.
Because it's such a nice sound. I mean, we'll go and look at it in game.
It's an interesting machine gun, though. It's,
actually, I haven't prepared any background info.
I can tell you a lot about that.
Please.
It's the most interesting part about it is I think is that it was the request from the American Army for solving. They wanted like a light machine gun that was like rifle sized, and apparently they without. It's a pure coincidence. They had the same requirements as the German army had with the FG-42, and they gave it to different teams of engineers, and they sort of came up with almost identical solutions for the problems, which is quite funny. So it does look a lot like the FG-42, and it shares a lot of the same designs, which is also why we have added it for the paratroopers, the American paratroopers in the game. You'll see also actually that the sight is almost identical. So
you're saying
it has to flip up the barrel thing.
So riflemen and paratroopers can use this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What can I say more about this? It's obviously a magazine, single stack magazine, and. Huge standard rifle ammunition. I think you have to put it up on the screen.
No, it's just that I'm preparing to launch a game there.
Okay.
So I'll just do this here. Yeah. And, that's good enough. Actually, wait. I don't want to.
There wasn't that many produced, but they were actually used in the war. Not by you could say like the regular army, but more like the special forces, and were using it. Especially I think the first unit that was using it during the war was the Devil's Brigade.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that because Jack Churchill had something to do with the Devil's Brigade, did he? Or no, it's the Johnsons. Sorry, okay, no, because I was a little bit.
No. We have a group of players
that are called we had. So there's a clan, but that has nothing to do. When we're talking about the Devil's Brigade, we're talking about the historical.
The
Devil's
same
Brigade.
thing as the it's the same guys that is sort of like portrayed in the Tarantino movie *Inglourious Bastards*.
Okay,
it's also the Devil's Brigade.
So, but they're inspired, right?
Yeah.
The characters in *Inglourious Bastards*, they're not supposed to be historical, I think, right? None of them, right? Are they?
Yes.
Okay. No, I just never actually checked the facts on.
No, I don't know if they're completely identical to the real ones or whatever, but it's based on those legends.
Okay, so their names are also.
I don't know.
Okay, so that I don't know either, but I'll just do this so we can get started. And I think I'll take the opportunity to show two things at the same time. Because we have also new camo coming for the US faction.
Yes.
So I'll, if I can find it. Ah, there it is. I'll get a paratrooper if I can get the right. So that's. There you go. So. Oh. So here is my. And I'll give him the Johnson.
Actually, another fun fact about the Johnson, which we do not support, which is that it can actually be it can be loaded with an extra 5 rounds with a stripper clip from the opposite side of the magazine. The thing is, when you load the magazine on the Johnson, like a little flap opens and it actually the magazine pushes in the first 5 rounds. So there's actually room for 5 more rounds in the magazine, which means if you have a stripper clip, you can push the 5 more rounds in the opposite direction. So you can, but that would be kind of like a really special mechanic to introduce in the game for this one particular weapon. But I thought it was fun to mention anyway. It's
okay,
curious thing.
So I'll just to show you how fantastic it looks. Camera. Oh, yeah, there you go. Right. I think this is. There you go. Here I am, and if I now shoot. Oh, I'll just do this so that I can play without the camera bouncing all over the place. And you can see how, I mean, it looks, it sounds so. It's just
the reason the magazine is so long is because it's a single stack magazine, so all the bullets are aligned. They don't interleave.
If I fly around a little bit there, look down on my. Where did I go? Oh, seriously, where did I go? So it's a fairly large magazine.
It is.
But so it's 20 rounds,
yes.
single stack, right? So. I mean, and it's just like the sound of it is half of the appeal. I think is just so.
It's a nice gun,
beefy. And the camo that I'm sporting right now, it's called Hunter camo, right?
Yeah.
So it comes out again in three variants. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you got fall. You got I forgot the names. Wait, I have it in the interface here. If I pull up my dude. So, yeah, there you go. So you got Hunter, Fall, Spring, and Swamp. So this one we're seeing right now is
Swamp.
I would guess Swamp. Yeah, I would think so too. It's kind of So and if I'll try to load up another one right after this, or actually I can do this. That goes back to the basic one. I'll load up another one after this.
After you kill yourself.
After I kill myself. That's what I do.
That's what I do
when I'm bored. So I'll just load up another one. I'll give you the infantry variant. So
yeah,
which is this one.
The Johnson actually it also comes with the regular set of mods that you will have on the other light machine guns.
Okay. Again, just for the fun of it, let's listen to it again. It's what we are not hearing it right now. I'm just pretending that I hear it because I remember what it sounds like. I'm like, yes, but it's all in my head, really. But it really does look a lot like if I actually compare it with the Fallschirmjägergewehr, it has a little bit of the same silhouette, but
but also it's light machine gun. It has like a rifle size, and it has like a sideways magazine.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I neglected to show when you're looking at it from your first person perspective and you're aiming through it. This is how it looks like. Yeah. Which is it's kind of a different feel than looking through the regular iron sights. It's but I like it actually. I'm never quite sure actually. Are you supposed to cover your target a little bit, overlap, or is your target supposed to be a little bit above the the sights? When you look at you see what I mean? The
please explain.
Not the crosshair, but the front part of the sight.
You see where the pin ends.
The pin, yeah.
That is the point of where you should.
But that's what I mean. It's like
you should not cover.
You don't cover your target. It's always a little bit above, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the sights actually have a little arrow thing, so you actually look at it as an arrow that points to where you want to shoot.
So that's for the
with this type of sight. That's it. There's many different iron sights, obviously. That has different.
And it's got select fire also.
Yes.
So it's single firing mode. Yep. So it's pretty much exactly like in terms of functionality, it's like the FG42.
Yeah. Except that you can't load the extra 5 rounds. I thought it would be pretty easy, but it just requires too much extra work for such a small thing. It would be the only weapon where you can do it, and we have to make special controls to be able to reload twice or whatever.
And you can fire it while walking.
Yeah.
Which is not the case with the M1919, is it? Actually, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to compare. Oh wait, this is not the 1919. This is it. The difference is that you will slow down.
To
okay. Whereas this one,
that has been fixed on the FG42 as well, so that's the same.
Yeah. So because if I'm sprinting, I can't fire anything, of course. But if I'm kind of like running, walking, normal running speed, then you can keep firing it without. It doesn't even slow you down. So if I do it with the since we changed it for the FG42, you can do the same thing with the FG42 now. Yeah. Of course, it kind of doesn't help your not your sway, but your stability, right?
Obviously, firing a machine gun from the hip while walking is not the most precise thing at the. But
it's more like a way of saying, "Go away, kind of stay away." So that's for the Allies, and the Germans are also getting a new pistol. So I'm gonna just show up as a German now. Just to do this. Oh, right. So here I am. Oh wait, I'm still not the right. I don't like to be the wrong uniform while carrying the wrong weapon. It's just so. Why
like to be the wrong guy?
Oh, it didn't work because I didn't enter the right thing either. Okay, so. There we go.
Maybe I should mention, it seems like people in the chat are a bit confused about this, but the Johnson will be available for the paratroopers also.
Yeah.
The American paratroopers and the infantry.
So I'm still American. I got the wrong uniform code. Anyway, I think instead of teasing, I'll just give myself the weapon. All right. So this one is also a much requested weapon, and we're talking about the Parabellum 38 or P38, and this one is like, at first I thought it was exactly the same as the James Bond gun, but it's his little brother. It's his older brother actually, the PPK,
I think
it's a similar.
James Bond used different weapons, didn't he?
But he kept switching guns. But at some point, they decided that the PPK was James Bond's official.
Yeah, the short barrel one.
This is very similar.
The police version.
Yeah. So it's the same manufacturer. It's very similar. And again, this one has been made with
the PPK as well. I think that's a cool weapon.
Yeah.
Maybe with one less equipment point or something.
And it's got really nice sounds.
Yeah.
That one too. So again.
That's a very advanced pistol, actually. It's supposed to be, when you read about it, it's supposed to be the first modern handgun where everything just comes together in the mechanics. Most modern pistols are based on this design. It's supposed to.
That's a good question. I'm just going to make sure that the graphics are set to high quality. Yeah. To do this, I need to do this.
It's supposed to replace the
no, they're not.
V8 Luger.
Okay. Should I? How do you like your brightness? Middle. That's good. There we are. So that, yeah. Let me get back to shooting. So yeah, it's and again, I should be German while doing this. You know what? I'll just just to get the point across. Don't I have a list of? Yes. Awesome. There we go. And yes. Okay. Let's do it again. For the sake of property. So. There. Maybe
a much requested pistol.
He looks pretty badass with that.
It's nice. It's really nice. But then again, it's obviously it's not a super weapon. It's slightly better for the instead of the Luger, but it actually comes down to what you prefer as a player, I think.
So let's. I'm going to go back to first person, if I can. There we are. So again, in first person, it sounds like this. Actually, when you're very close to a weapon, you kind of hear the same, roughly the same kind of sound. It's when you're far away, right, that the sound changes.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure that you hear the sound effect as it's heard in first person. But yeah, I was sitting next to our sound artist and listening to how he was working on that, and he was telling me that basically every time you pull the trigger, it's actually different layers of sounds that are being triggered, not exactly in the same timing.
There are some variations.
There's some variation, so it's kind of a what you call a round robin variation. So it cycles through different versions of the same gunshot, so that it feels like it's the same weapon, but it feels like it's a different sound every time.
It doesn't get too repetitive.
Yeah, because that feels fake, right? When it's exactly the same sound every single time.
It's a different. Same with the footsteps and stuff. That it has to vary a little bit, because otherwise you get annoyed with the same exact sound.
Right.
It's crazy how good the human ear is at picking up the exact same sound that you.
Yeah, we should show the Johnson again with the. Yeah, that's true. Actually, if I show you the how the Johnson sounds, like every time you fire it, it's a slightly different sound. Because it's not just the sound. There's the sound of the explosion. There's the sound of all the internals going. Basically, all the internals pumping the next round into the chamber. So, of course, if you.
But we actually also we tweaked small things about like tightening up the sound a bit, so the bang comes like milliseconds before than it used to. That was like some code that was tweaked recently. So the gun sound should feel a little bit more tight than it used to do. Also, I know that good friend Leto, who's handling the weapon code and has sort of like fixed, the issue we talked about last time with the submachine guns and the mods of where multipliers ended up having the same rate of fire. He actually did some work on that, so we have like you say, like smaller time slices. So it should be sort of like better now, and more precise, and it also affects the sound. It feels more fluid.
Because there's more not granularity, but there's more precision.
It's more precise now, which also makes sure that it will affect all the different round per rate of fire mods and everything. But it's a general thing that they just get more precise.
And if I can, let's see if I can shoot the fence post over there and make it. I think it's going to take a few more bullets to knock the fence out completely. But you can actually. Technically, if you waste all your bullets, you can destroy a fence.
Yeah, that's awesome. You don't get any XP for that, though.
No. So, are we moving on to the next topic? I think we are, aren't we? Unless, yeah.
I don't know. You're the.
I think we should do that.
The schedule guy.
But to make for a slightly smoother changeover, I know I'll just invert the order I'll play this thing right now.
Okay.
So that, because we have a guest and we kind of don't want to, keep you waiting while we switch seats and everything. So today's HNG moment is a video. We wanted to share that. We have players who make really funny moments video and the videos, and this is Chili from a clan called Deutsche US Division, so the German US division, and he's got 12 episodes already of funny moments, and so I'll just give you a few seconds of this one because it's just totally funny. And in the meantime, we'll be switching seats.
Fatality! Like a mouse!
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Dieses oben ist noch... Warte mal, die sehen Messer mal rein. Komm, Alter. Banzai! Wer hat das schon gesehen? Bam! Oh, da ist er direkt vor dir.
Ludicrous kill.
Nein, hab ich.
Da ist noch eine Peter. Wo ist
Brauchen wir nicht ganz gerade.
das? Ist Richtung A. Ja, Panther.
Hab ich. Steht doch nicht.
Sehr schön.
Ja, jetzt haben wir ihn noch wieder.
Alright, welcome back. I'm the new Gargamel.
Gargamel 2.
Gargamel, or small Gargamel. Hello, I'm the Smurf version. I'm Reto Ken Solo. I'm producer here at Red Motor. Some of you might notice my voice from the earlier video logs. When I started here, I was a PR and marketing manager, and then I eventually became producer. And my role is to ensure that people in here know what they are to be doing, help to set up pipelines. When Jacob comes and says, I want this awesome new feature into the game, then we take a look at it and see how we can make a plan for making it into the game,
And maybe limit the scope a bit so it doesn't blow into a 2-year plan.
I'm usually the no sayer because we have to make sure that we can deliver the things to you guys that we aim to do. So I'm not doing any code. I'm not doing any graphics. I'm basically taking care of the production plan, setting up meetings, coordinating stuff between all the developers. And then I'm also the what should you say, the link between production and marketing, where I discuss with marketing and community management what are we developing right now, and when will stuff be ready so we can start to tell you guys about it. So I'm working a lot behind the scenes and have a lot to do with all bits and pieces, but actually not producing anything myself. So enough about me. We're here to continue the tour about the production of the Panther, the assembly line.
Assembly line, yeah.
And last time, could you briefly recap what you were discussing?
Last time we talked about the what goes into the decision on how do we pick the like a new weapon or vehicle or any other content that goes into the game, and how Ville, who's been doing the Panther, how he starts to collect reference materials, and we looked at some of the wireframes and the blueprints for the vehicle. We looked at how it fits into the whole progression tree in the game. So it's sort of like you look at the game and say, where should we put the next cool thing in? So
fantastic.
Yeah.
And this time we are to talk about the modeling, and also talk about the data and the setup. But to backtrack a bit, when we decide to start production of a certain vehicle or weapon or anything in the game, really, we make a production plan. And Jacob has put up the pipeline for, maybe you could make it full screen, the pipeline for what we need to do in order to put in a new vehicle. And as you can see, there are a lot of small boxes and arrows. The boxes are tasks that needs to be done, and the arrows indicate that when a certain task has been made, then new tasks can begin, and new tasks are being spawned on the background of the completion of the previous task.
So some people will not get their tasks before another person have completed their task. It's supposed to illustrate that a lot of people actually work on putting in a tank. It's not just a model that goes into the game. There's a lot of other stuff that's related to put in a new vehicle.
Exactly. And sometimes the pipeline, as you see, this is our current pipeline. Sometimes it changes when we add a new feature. For instance, with when we added vehicle skins, then the pipeline changed a bit because we had to produce the vehicles in a different way, and sometimes we have to go back and work on an existing vehicle in order to get that up to speed with the new feature set. But as mentioned, there are a lot of tasks, a lot of people involved in this. And what we will go through today is, we will start out with looking at, maybe you can zoom in on. Maybe you can pull up the other image.
The other image?
This one, yeah.
Yep, here we go.
I have, as you can see, I'm not an artist, but I have still tried to highlight some of the features that we or some of the tasks that we're going to address today. The first task in the top corner is to create all the XMLs, and the XMLs are all the data files containing the data about the vehicle, how it performs in the game.
That's what we call the static data, the stuff that doesn't change in the game.
Yeah, that doesn't change dynamically throughout the game.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the basis. We need to establish that before we can move on with like putting everything together.
Yes.
I'm going to show you how static data looks.
What?
This is a dry stuff, but just to give you an idea of that, how much stuff actually goes into to creating. This is the Panther. You can see this is it's called a vehicle template. Has all the different, you can say the base values for just the tank. This doesn't include the guns and the seatings and everything else. This is just the basic vehicle actually. How it
choose a larger font or something.
Oh, it might be hard to see out there. So we'll just enlarge the font if possible. But yes, all of encoding language.
No, this is a text viewer. So
anyway, what you can see, it might be difficult to see, but it is a matter of the speed, how the brakes are set up, the RPMs when it's running in different gears and such like that.
What kind of vehicle it is? Is it a tracked vehicle? Is it has normal road wheels? You have the how heavy it is, for example. There's the how many gears it have. This one, the Panther here, I can see it is set up to have like seven forward gears and one backwards. Then there's a lot of data describing how the individual gear shifts perform when you drive the vehicle. There's something with the climbing angles and all sorts of stuff goes into just the handling of the vehicle. So it actually takes a while to actually set it up. This stuff is usually, when we start out making a new vehicle, we just copy it from another vehicle just to get the ball rolling. And then when the model is in the game in some sort of like rough state, we can start to move the vehicle around and see how it works. Is it too heavy? Is it slide fast and slow, and turret traversion and all that stuff is tweaked afterwards. So, but this is just the initial data file that we need in order to start building the vehicle.
Yeah, the thing is, we have a physics system which the vehicles affects. Yeah. So it's not like we can just say, oh, it has to run like this and it has to turn like this. We set up some parameters that the in-game physics systems interprets, and then the vehicle will handle in a certain way. All right. So this is the basic vehicle data. We have other types of XMLs, or other data that needs to be established also.
Yeah, let's see. We have here, there's obviously the guns and the upgrades and everything.
They have their own file with similar setups.
Yeah. I'm not going to show all the different files here because obviously people can't see it anyway.
No.
I'm just going to say that we have. There's also little bits and pieces of data that needs to be established on the server before we can start to actually work with. Obviously, you can start modeling the tank, but in order to start testing it in the game as early as possible, our animator have to animate for example, the enter and exit, when you have the open hatch animations and stuff. So animations needs to be in place as well, and all this stuff that ties into the data files on the server. So we create all those in the beginning, and then we can start to sort of like, you could say, almost like build the tank and tweak it.
Besides the vehicle data, then we also have ribbon setup.
Yeah. Obviously, when it's a vehicle or a weapon, it comes with a specialist ribbon. If it has upgrades to it. If it doesn't have any upgrades, then there's no special ribbons. For example, we don't have any upgrades for the motorcycles.
Okay. Yeah.
So those doesn't really require a new a new specialist ribbon. But usually, most vehicles and weapons have upgrades and supply crates and maybe a gun with new ammunition and stuff. So and the Panther have its own upgrade as well. So it needs a specialist ribbon. The specialist ribbon also. It contains some graphics and stuff that needs to be created as well. Yes. We have to put up all the unlocks that has to be decided. Usually it's sort of like based on the same on what unlocks where on other weapons or vehicles, but sometimes it's like this needs to be in a different order because something.
Yeah, of course. So that's also a thing to be tweaked. That's typically you who does that setup.
I would usually do that. Yeah. Obviously, the pricing needs to be done, and other data like how how quickly does it wear down, for example. There's this is just a small thing, but you have to create the boosters for the ribbons
course.
as well, and I've told all about the unlocks. And now, obviously, we need to figure out where is the weapon or vehicle unlocked in the actual vehicle. When does it unlock? Panther, we showed that it unlocked on the armor assault ribbon.
So that's and that the decision of where it's unlocked is typically something that we know before we started into production.
Yeah.
But the data files needs to be made.
That's all like the stuff I showed last time with the huge progression tree. We said, it should be around here, and then I sort of like put it in there, and then we see if it fits in that space. So.
Cool. And then the last piece of dry tasks, not with colors and modeling, is of course a description of the vehicle and a title. It has to have a name. And
it has to. It has to be. That's one of the things that the people don't think that usually is important for making a vehicle or weapon. But you have to take into account that we need to get the new text localized as well to all the different languages. That's so true. It has to be sort of like prepared in good time, so the translators can actually write the Russian text or the Russian translation to the text. So we have to remember all these little things, but we have a pretty good system for making sure that everybody gets the tasks at the right time. Yes. And obviously we have Ken Solo here to make sure that they also complete the tasks. Or the carrot. I prefer the carrot. Yeah. There's going to be made a song out of me saying I prefer the carrot. I'm sure about that. Okay, getting back to getting back to the. You know how easy it is.
Yeah. No, improvise. Anyway, now to a bit more visually intriguing part is.
I'm going to show a little bit of the actual 3D modeling part of the vehicle. I think next time we're going to show a lot more about how we create the actual high detailed models and the texturing and all the fancy stuff. But this goes into the. I thought it would be too dry to just talk about data stuff. So I'm going to show a little bit of some data that's related to the 3D object, which obviously is the. I'm going to. Open up this baby here.
My idea was to show all the dry stuff in one go, so we could get it over. But that's fun. There's fun stuff from now.
Yeah, this is the in-game model of the. It's only the hull for the Panther.
And this is based on the stuff that we saw the last time. All the what's it called blueprints and the research that Wheeler has made. Then he starts to get this done.
Yeah, this is the actual in-game model. So this is what we would call like the low-res model. Actually, even though it has a pretty high polygon count.
Yeah, the reason why we talk about low res and high res is that we produce it in really high detail, so we can from there on make it in lower details.
But that's not what I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you the collision, something that people, at least the tankers, are very interested in discussing where's the armor thickness and where to hit it and stuff like that. So
could you briefly explain what collision and what the difference between the game mesh? I mean the game model and the collision mesh collision model. What is the difference?
You will see that. See if I can find this one here. The gray model you see here, you can see the slightly yellowy outline. That is what you see in the game. That's the graphical representation. In order for the physics engine to detect a shot, it needs to make what you would call like a 3D line collision. Simply just tracing through 3D space and figuring out what what triangle do I hit.
So basically, I have the gun, and then you follow the bullet, and then you look at the point where on the tank where it hits,
where it intersects. Yeah, and everybody who has just a little bit of knowledge on math will know that is actually quite a complex calculation to make that. Where is the precision? Where is the precise intersection point? And it's nothing that you can it's also about usually it's about resolution. So the more time you iterate on the algorithm, the more precise it gets. So you can make a very coarse collision, you can make a very fine collision. And obviously it's a game, so it has to be fast. And that's where we have to make some compromises in the collision model. If we want it precise, it'll be slow, and that's not good for an action game. So we take a little bit of liberties here. Making a collision on a box, for example, I think the best way to illustrate it is that the simplest way of colliding with something is a sphere, because the sphere only has one thing. It has a position and it has or two things: position and a radius, and that's it. So it's a very simple calculation, and then you go into sort of like more and more detailed primitives. Like the box collision is also very simple. But a box collision or a sphere is not going to work for a tank.
No, it's not a box or a sphere.
We need something a little bit more precise. So that's where the collision object comes in. We have to make a polygon model to have the collision, which makes it a slightly that's the most heavy collision you can have. That's a polygon mesh, and obviously we cannot make there's only one way to make the line check, is to check every single polygon in the object. So an object with 1,000 polygons is 10 times as heavy to calculate as one with 100 polygons. So it has to be as few polygons as possible in order to speed up the game.
But still represent the tank in the best possible way.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's why we made a separate object for just handling the collision.
Yeah.
And we have different types of collision as well. We have collision for the character. That's a different set of that's a different object, because that's an even heavier collision, is because the character is constantly moving into something, where a shot is just like that's a one-time calculation. So the character collision is really heavy, because it's constantly colliding with something. So we, especially for the vehicles, we separate them in two different collision objects.
Yes.
But here we go.
Collision 101.
Yeah. As you can see now, this is the high-res object, and it has way too many polygons to start to make collision on this one. So I'm gonna hide it, and then we have the. Here we go.
The collision object.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hide this as well. This is level of detail.
Yes.
This
but it still looks like the same tank. It's just with fewer polygons.
Yeah, you can see it actually has the sort of like the rough shape of the tank, but not all the detail, not the bevels on the edges and all. We removed a lot of the detailed stuff that doesn't really matter in the game, but it's still a fairly heavy collision object. And that's also what a lot of it sparks a lot of controversy in the game, that people say, why when I hit there, it should realistically be this and this and this, and it's for us it's a compromise of speed versus precision. So you have to remember it's a game, so we cannot make it. It's not a physics simulator.
No, and well, if we made it in too detailed, then we would have a really low frame rate count.
Yeah.
And the CPU would just overheat and all.
This is Willem who's doing all the collision objects. So he makes the choices on what should be hit and what should not be hit, what should count as collision and what should not count as a collision. Obviously, he starts out with looking at this is the tank. He looks at the front glacis and the what it was the realistic armor thicknesses, and then he starts to build from there. And you can see over here that's the scene tree. I've selected the collision object, and I now can go into this area I'm going to show here. Is like you say subdivision or sub selections of the collision mesh, which will we set into different thicknesses. So this are actually the parts where you set up how thick the armor is. Okay. So you can see here the whole top part of the Panther.
Yes.
That's only 16 millimeter. So if you hit here, that's 16 millimeter that goes into the penetration calculation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you shoot it from the front here, that's the 80 millimeter one.
All right.
So you see that he goes around in the vehicle and says, I'm just going to remove this and say, where is it this thick, and where this is 40 millimeter, this is 50. You see it's a little bit thicker here, and the 61 is here on the lower part of the front, and the 80 millimeter is obviously this one. So that's how he sets it up. So he has the collision material here. These are the actual settings that he puts on this set. 80 millimeters. He goes in and says, "This is what kind of material is it? It's armor metal. And how thick is it? It's 80 millimeters." So
cool.
That's pretty basic actually to set it up, but it still requires a lot of thought into how do how does it work in the game. Our current armor penetration model is something that we would like to expand on in the future armor update, and I can tell you what we would like to upgrade with it, and how it works today, and why we have put the front part of the tank here as 80 millimeter. Everybody can see that this is not 80 millimeter. It's just sheet metal, so it should just instantly penetrate this. The thing is that we different parts of the player would expect that different parts of the object will gets an effect, gets an sort of an explosion or something when you hit it. You would expect the tank to get hit when it, for example, if it's shot from this angle. It would be odd if the bullet would just pass straight through it. But on the other hand, we don't want it to penetrate the actual tank. We want the effect instead. So that's why this is included in the actual armor. One thing that in the armor model 2.0, for lack of a better word, would be that we will start to separate out these parts and say these are sort of like secondary parts. They have a thinner penetration, and in order for the vehicle to take damage, we would place, you could say, like an internal object that has to be hit as well as penetrating the because then we could say that this is only 1 millimeter thin, and when you hit it, you don't actually hit the internal hitbox, which makes the penetration irrelevant, but you still get the effect. So that's kind of like the next iteration on the armor model, is to separate. Right now we have some annoying things that it's definitely just because that's how the system works. That, for example, you can see the back part here, the exhaust pipes. Exhaust pipes still have collision on them because they have to, game-wise, they have to count as you hit the tank, and but in reality we would like it to just be the effect part. But right now we just can't separate those two things. So that's kind of like the thinking about the next iteration. But I think it's good to explain people why some of the things work the way they do in the game.
I have to point out that the next iteration of the armor model is not. It is in design right now. It's not in production right now.
That's the whole idea about the assembly line stuff, that we are going to talk about future stuff at some point.
So look in the crystal ball.
Yeah, but also to explain why it's why these parts are actually in the collision model.
Cool. So this is the collision setup and the armor setup.
Yeah.
And I guess that wraps up today's assembly line.
Yeah.
And next time we will have something with more colors and sounds and bells and whistles and moving parts.
Oh, can I actually show here? If you can see the wireframe I unhid here. Much simpler mesh than than this one I just showed. This is actually the collision that we use for the characters, just to make it faster.
Yeah, the wall collision.
Yeah, the wall collision.
When it collides with a tree instead of colliding with a bullet.
Yeah,
for instance.
But especially when it collides with soldiers, because those are the heaviest one. That's like a whole rig with like capsules and shit in it. So it's that's heavy stuff.
And that's heavy as well. It's a tank. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. I might be back in another episode, but I will give the word over to Gargamel.
I'll just take your microphone, I think.
Yes.
I think we need to.
We don't have to switch.
You don't?
No, I think I can. You can just show one link that I have.
Then you have to tell me all.
It's open on Firefox. There's on the right screen. You should see like the forum section. Like this one. That's what I want to show.
Right.
Is my microphone okay? Yeah. Okay. So we have basically we've pretty much covered everything that was on today's program. I wanted to make a little special announcement. It's a change that's going to happen in the way we accept your bug reports. Until now, there's been a section in the support help desk where you could submit a bug report, and we've been doing a lot of thinking, and we realized we already have dedicated players on our forum that have a special forum section all to themselves. They're called the bug hunters, and if you can show it to let's just drag the window on the other side. This one, yeah,
This one?
yeah. Just full screen it, I guess.
Come on.
Yes,
Make me full
awesome.
screen.
So this is the bug hunters forum section, and you have players that are dedicated bug hunters. They have blue nicknames, and these guys basically know, quite a lot about how to file the proper, complete, and relevant bug reports, and they are fairly knowledgeable also about what bugs are known, what bugs are currently being investigated, which ones are being worked on. So this, we think it would be better for everybody, actually, more satisfying for the players, and also more efficient for us if everybody just reports their bugs on the forum from now on. So I'm going to close the bug reporting section on the support help desk. So if you spread the word around, please don't send bug reports to support anymore. We're going to focus uniquely on support. So support will be support, and bug reports will be the domain of bug hunters. And the bug hunters also, they're always on the lookout for new recruits. So if you hang out with them long enough, they might offer you to become one of them, based on the quality of the bug reports. And I guess one of the other reasons we think it's better to do this is that since there's more communication on that side, there's more action, and on my side of things, because my priority is support, I help people who have problems running the game, have issues with kind of finding their things on their account, or just basically resetting their password. It could be anything, but bug reporting is basically the bottom of my priorities, because I have to help people first with stuff that has to do with just getting to the game. So bug reports on the forum, and I think support tickets about support that will help everybody just get what they need faster. And that's it. So we're gonna see how it goes, and I think honestly it's already working quite fine. So we're kind of looking forward to that. So I'll do the usual announcements. Today we talked about the upcoming Churchill update. Actually, I forgot to mention it has a two-part name. So it's Churchill or Inglorious Guns. We basically thought it would be appropriate to, because the Johnson light machine gun was used by the famous the infamous Devil's Brigade in World War II. Not the clan, the historical guys.
They will be using it.
They will be using it because so that's why we picked that name. And we have been, of course, talking about the making of the Panther Part 2. I saw in the chat a lot of people were like, well, why are we talking about this? But because I think a lot of you want to know, what are we doing for so long? Well, those things
also
take time,
I can
right?
say that the reason for the assembly, we're going to go through this whole thing with the Panther to figure out how the format should be, and then if everything goes well, we will start to show stuff that's work in progress. Yeah. So it will be like a peek into what is not immediately coming, but what are we actually working on? Yeah. Hopefully. If it all goes, I'm looking forward to that, because it's not that we really do want to share stuff that's in progress. I guess we just need to find a formula for it. Yeah. We showed you some of Chili's funny moments, and we are actually going to give a shout out. That's true, I forgot to mention. We had a shout out for Mr. Bridger Craggs and for Mr. Slickby, who hosted, who we hosted last time, playing after our Twitch session. So if you missed the start of this episode, you can watch us on YouTube or on Twitch later on. And I'm missing one page. And we are inviting you to, of course, follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the rest of the interwebs. To follow us on Twitch, you can use the navigation bar, menu toolbar on the right side here, and we will be
saying, I think, until the 15th, right? We're coming back the 15th.
I guess so.
It's just that it was supposed to be 3 pages, and I printed only 2. So
You forgot one in the printer.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be seeing you on the 15th. So until then, we say thank you for watching and thank you for playing. Have a nice weekend.